These are the prequel books to the Explode the Code series, which go from 1 to 8, but also include 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and so on for extra practice. My first grader is currently on book 1.5, and my kindergartner is slowly working through book 1. And we started him with the A, and he finished it. And then we started on the B a little bit, but I just kind of found that he was past this. He knew all of his letters, so we moved him on to book 1, and he is able to read 3 and 4 letter words right now. So he is doing well with book 1, but we're taking it really slowly, and I'm kind of walking him through a lot of it. But I will flip through these so that you can kind of see what is in these and if it would be helpful for you to get these or just go right to book 1. So in this, it starts off pretty easy, like, okay, which one's different? Mark the ones that are different, and it starts to introduce the letter F. And I believe letter F is in here for quite a little while. So yeah, we're circling all the F's, coloring all the F's here. And then we really liked these pages. I would read something with clues and then he'd circle it. So the first one was, I'm thinking of something that is often made of wood. It keeps animals in a yard, and what is it? And then he'd circle the fence and say fence. And so we were recognizing words that start with F. And again here, which one starts with F? And we didn't do a bunch of the handwriting just because we do handwriting in other books. So we did end up skipping a lot of the handwriting here. So now we're starting to, I think, introduce the letter B. And he did think this was a fun book, and he did fly through it pretty quickly. Like, his brother was officially doing homeschool, and he was still kind of in preschool, so we weren't really doing a lot of book work, pretty much no book work. And he'd be like, please, Mom, can I do school? I'd be like, okay, sure, let's do this. And he'd want to go for like 7 or 8 pages. So it was really nice. So he was kind of learning all of his letters and sounds separately alongside of this. So once he had those down, we didn't really need to continue with these. But it's kind of nice that they're, you know, they're introducing these different letters and then sounding out what it starts with. And these are pretty short, so they do go by pretty quickly, depending on how many pages you're doing a day. I'd say at the rate he was doing this, we finished this book in, I mean, it was really quick. It was like maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3. Just kind of doing it when he asked. All right, and here it kind of explains all the different books. So this book A is BFMKRT. Book B is PJHSND. And then book C is CLGWYVZQ&X. And then book 1, it says short vowels, but they are expected to be reading sentences when they're doing that. And book 1.5 is like further practice with that. But I found that it is quite a bit harder than book 1 in our experience. So we're working through that right now. I personally love having the half books just because I think that they are a good stepping stone between 1 and 2. I think there is a little bit of a jump there. So I do like having the half books. I don't quite remember how far we got in this book, but I know we didn't do a bunch of it. So again, which one's different? Kind of follows the same format, just with the next set of letters. And that's kind of how the Explode the Code books are too. It'll have like a layout kind of like 5 different types of worksheets, and then it'll like start over, if that makes sense. So kind of like this one is mark which one's different, the letter, the maze, and then like the word problems. I think this is as far as we got. Yeah, then it kind of starts over. Which one's different? Introducing the letter, the maze, the word problems. So it just kind of follows a pattern, which is kind of nice so we know what to expect. Some of the pictures, and I found this too in like the Explode the Code, it's kind of hard to know what some of the pictures are. So my kids will be like, well, what is that? Or like, what, I don't know, what is that? And I'm like, juggling. So they'll need a little bit of help with that sometimes. I think this one's almost done. Yep. All right, so that is book B. And then book C, I think, is the longest, which makes sense because it has, I believe, the most letters. And this I haven't even looked through just because we only made it halfway through book B. And my youngest right now is still just a baby. So I think maybe when that time comes, maybe when he's young, preschool, we'll kind of go through these. So I guess it's kind of nice, you know, to have these things ready for the next one. The pages are a little bit loud. But we really, really do love the Explode the Code series. I think that it is challenging enough to where it's pushing them, but not so challenging that they cannot do it or can't figure it out. So we really do like it. I did it with my oldest son. We're doing it with my second son. And hopefully we'll work our way through all the levels here. So these books are obviously open and go, but I think that they definitely require, you know, you, the parent, to be kind of beside them and helping them walk through it and kind of figuring out what these pictures are for them too. So this one is 110 pages. Book B was 78 pages. And book A, also 78 pages. So those are the, get ready, get set, and go for the code.